Hey guys, it's Gadget. And YouTube couldn't upload my first video I did on what happened. Well, basically it was a 1 hour and 1 second YouTube video on what happened while I was out there. It was just short, not really short because it's 1 hour, but basically just I'm working on it now to see if I can get it uploaded as like an added to this, because this may be the rewrite one, in the sense of it just might be a little shorter, because um basically that 1 hour I was just venting because of what happened and things in my life, because I hate when people doubt themselves. Because I was like that. I hate when things just, I get prejudged before I do anything. I don't get a fair chance. I don't, because people have preconceived ideas and stuff. And basically, that's what I was dealing with my whole trip out there. How do I put it? Well, like I said, if we can get the other video uploaded, it was much better than what I'm doing now. But basically, I went on that trip to the UK to see Christopher. He wanted me out there, and yes, I had fun, but at the same time, he already had prejudged everything before I even got there. I never had a fair chance. And it's not his fault. People do that with me a lot. So basically, this is how it was. I'm going to try to upload the other video so you guys can hear it, the long version. But this is the short version. I get out there. We have a good time. We do some things that boyfriends and girlfriends do. But at the same time, he sat in a chair. I'm getting tweets all day because everyone's found out I'm home. And basically wondering if he's going to either run like the last time, or stand up, or realize that he has fallen for me and just can't express how he feels about it. Because from what I'm getting from friends and people who know him, and my friends and everything that do talk to him and all this other stuff, I sit here and I wonder, does he even realize that he has fallen? Because there are many key features of this, but basically this is the gist of it. He finally gets me out there in person. And what does he do? He basically tells me, thank you for making me have a choice. Most people don't, but you'll like the answer at the end of the trip when I decide what's going to be. Either way, you will be happy with the answer. And I'm like, you already made your decision. So I basically just humored him, because we had to go to a wedding for his friends, and they're very good people. I love them to death. And I was being introduced as the girlfriend. We were having fun. Say no more, right? His dad was joking with us and everything, but at the same time, he also was just sitting in a chair, not sitting next to me, not acting like a way a boyfriend should do. But I chalked it up to it being something that his parents told me, as well as him being scared that I'm out there, because after 3 years of just seeing me on a computer, he finally gets to see me in person, as well as him doubting himself because of past relationships, which he needs to let go. Mainly, I know Christopher's going to kill me for this, but I'm going to try to upload both videos, because I'm trying to state it's not his fault the way he acted or anything. It's the way he took responsibility for it. That's basically what it is. He basically just froze on me. And I can understand if that's fear. I can understand any of that. But he couldn't give me a straight answer on how come he froze, or why doesn't he feel the way he does. He just kept reiterating that he's comfortable with me, and that he doesn't understand how he can't need me yet, all this other stuff. And I'm sitting there going like, you friggin' fell, and you can't even realize what your heart is telling you, because your brain is overriding it. Yes, I yelled at him, because that's the thing. I don't baby people. I'm blunt. You bring me into your world, your life, knowing my past and knowing for 3 years what he has done to me. And he has gotten more chances than anyone. Not realizing he fell, can't express it, but freezes up. Okay? He doubts himself way too much because of past things. And he has to stop. Because if I did that every time, because it took me a long time to stop letting my past dictate my future. There's another thing. I'm also an empath. And as a promise to his dad, I wouldn't do any of the tarot card readings and the Wiccan stuff or anything like that. I promised to be good. The problem with that is when I don't do certain things, it sort of pents up and basically expresses itself another way. Either my empathetic abilities, I cannot do it, my stuttering, make me more aware of situations around me and other people's feelings, to where sort of spirits like to gravitate towards me. And that was part of the problem too there, as well as other things that were not in our control. And it seems that, see, I can't say because it's not my thing to say, but there's an outside influence that caused part of this too, as well as his dad being put in the hospital for his leg. That's all I can say about that one. All the plans that were made were changed, and Christopher doesn't sit well with change. He never does. He always never has. So basically we had to try and do different things that weren't planned to make it easier on his mom, because she had things to do and she was going to be doing the driving since he doesn't drive. So the main things that stayed the same were, before his dad went in the hospital, was the Royal Shakespeare Company trip, where we got to see Midsummer's Night's Dream performed with some Doctor Who actors as well as his dad. And I loved it. You know, I really did love it. And everything was fine. We were making out, things were good, right? Dad made this really killer chicken dinner that was like, guys, you got to get the recipe from him or have him make it for you. Everything was fine until I kept asking, could I please just cuddle or spend the night in your room? Because you basically figure the first couple of days you're nervous or everything, right? He just kept saying, no, go to your bedroom, right? And if he wanted the boyfriend-girlfriend thing, he should have been doing that, letting me cuddle, letting me, right? Because there were times we did cuddle and yeah, it was good and everything. Or times he kissed me and he knocked me off my feet. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. And I asked, and his mom even said there's nothing wrong with him. Well, there's something wrong, but it's basically they've ruled out so much stuff that it leaves this one thing, plus another key factor, which gave him a double whammy, plus the fact his dad was in the hospital. They all were worried and stressed out because it was serious. I will say that. So yeah, I did sort of not get what he said he was going to do, but that didn't bother me. And I don't know if that was what made him more anxiety in him, more scared to try or anything. Plus, it was also, he lives with his parents. So yeah, I can understand if you wanted to wait till we got to hotels, bed and breakfasts, or anything else different, or wait until the parents are out. Yeah. But he just sat in a chair. Now, I confronted him on both issues of what he did. And this is what came out of it. He prejudged everything before I got there. He already had made a decision about us and thought he could change his mind. Then he goes and texts a couple of my friends when we have our first fight, which not only pissed me off, but at the same time, he didn't tell them what was going on. And they are truly my friends. They told me what was said and showed me. And basically, he doubts himself way too much. He just doubted himself. Because I also found out from his mother that every time he either broke up with me or ditched me or whatever, he would lock himself in his bedroom and wouldn't come out. Also, they didn't know that who was making the changes in him. He actually was changing himself. He used to talk about death. He used to talk about not living, all this stuff. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. I'm blunt. I'm like, I have so many things wrong with me. I'm walking around that I tell people do not, just don't, because I will, you know? So basically, we had a fight. I tried to calm down because I really didn't want to short circuit anything in the house with the way I am, because I've done that before, in the sense of my energy just goes whoo because of the empathic ability, and then I can't put the cap on it basically when I'm upset. So yeah, but like I said, some of the things we were supposed to do got changed, and it's just because of that and other contributing factors, I got an unfair deal. No, granted that his parents did treat me very well, but at the same time, it was not fair to me. He didn't give me the fair chance he gave all the other girls, and they know who they are. He didn't introduce me as the girlfriend anymore after the wedding, and that hurt, because that's right after what happened with everything. And it basically literally just threw him into a tailspin that I got, yeah, I got the raw end of the deal. His dad tells me not to give up on him because of everything. Mom says not to give up on him. Like, since I'm home, let him miss me. Like, let him try to miss me, because we had a second fight. And he doubts himself way too much. Everyone knows he wants to be with me. He wants a life with me. But he doubts himself. I mean, I know he was stressed because of, who wouldn't be? Your dad's in the hospital. Look what happened when my dad was in. I mean, there's times that I don't know what's going to happen. And like when even my niece, anyone you care about or love that's in the hospital, your mind is only going to be on that. It's not going to be on anything else. So yeah, I did have to feel alone and be alone while he dealt with what was wrong with him and his demons and his things. So I'm not going to be fairly judged based on that, because he already made a decision before I got there. Other outside influences just froze him. So yeah, but yet he's done this to me before. But that's the thing I also want to clear up. Everyone thinks from my live videos I was upset. Yeah, I was upset because I wanted to enjoy whatever time I did have with him, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to afford to go out there again. And if that was also the case with everything, he keeps thinking he disappoints me. He only hurts me when he doubts himself. It's weird. I'm very weird. I am not a normal girl. I don't act the way the other girls do. I'm not jealous. I'm not this. It's not worth it. He's worth it, in the sense of, like his dad said, I'll have a friend for life. Yeah. But I really would love to have someone in my life permanently that doesn't last more than a month or a week, that wants me to be their girlfriend, that knows that even though they say they don't need me, it's not the word need. It's the fact that you already know that I'm there. You don't need me because I'm part of that. You're comfortable with me because you've already, see, I have a hard time with my dyslexia saying what words they are. I can describe it in a way, but it's hard to say and describe feelings in the sense of when you fall for someone. And I had wrote something on Facebook, which I really should read to you guys, but I closed out my Facebook because it's been acting up on the phone. Now, a lot of people confuse love, romance, spiritual, physical, everything, because movies and television just make it show you that things are not all they're cracked. Like, you don't just fall into bed with somebody. You don't just whatever with somebody. You basically have to be around them. You have to touch them. You have to hug them. You just can't sit in a chair and watch podcasts of people that, yeah, I have them as friends. I talk to them sometimes. But I was out there so that we could get the physical connection. Not sex, not that, just so that we could connect. But we did connect because he felt comfortable with me. And that's a good thing. That's part of it. But it was only 3 weeks. And when you're scared and you don't know what to do, or you just basically prejudge everything because you had something set and your plans got changed, and maybe you had an idea of doing something, all right? It's okay. But he doubted himself to the point where when he did try, oh my God, when he tried, it was knock me off my feet, tried, okay? But when he decided to freeze up on me and doubt himself, me being the empath, knew what was going on, and he just kept going, I don't understand. I don't know. He fell, and his head and his heart are not agreeing with it. The logic in it, right? But there's also, like I said, contributing factors. Sometimes medication can do things, because he was on this medication that there are certain side effects. And he's stopping the medication, and it can cause some stuff like that. Also, the other contributing factor that his parents told me about. So, and other things that friends have told me, that it's just basically sad that he spent my last day or last night all in his room after we had a fight, knowing that 5 seconds later I would have went in, but I was packing a bag. He could have came downstairs. But he did come out and sent me off on the plane, right? But at the same time, he wanted physical, but he didn't, only cuddled a little bit. He only kissed me a little bit, but sat in the chair. I said, come sit with me on the couch. Come do this. His dad wants to fly me out next year to make up for this. But I don't know what's going to happen in a year. I don't know what's going to happen the next day. I called to say I got home because I couldn't get through on the house number. I don't know if I was dialing it right. And he usually picks up when he sees my number after a few rings, but this time he picked up. It was almost like I was bothering him. And I don't like fighting with him. I really don't. So, we said what we said. I told him, tell his mom thank you and everything, tell his dad thank you, because his dad talked to me right before I left to say that he wanted to talk to me on Monday through Skype, or once he got out of the hospital, because he felt bad about how my trip was ruined, basically, but it wasn't really ruined because I wouldn't trade it for anything. But at the same time, he also asked me that I give him 3 months to be with Chris and Chris's mom, because of being in the hospital, to make up and talk about everything that's been going on. And plus fix his visa waiver and all the other stuff that happened, why he couldn't come here to America. I just basically liked being out there because it felt like home. I had no one belittling me. I had people who didn't make fun of my dyslexia, didn't tell me what I was saying was wrong, helped me rather than hurt me. But Chris did hurt me in one sense. He doubted himself. He doubted what could come of this. And that's what hurts. And then he runs and hides because he can't process it. Yes, I got upset. I ran, I listened to my music. but you give me a few moments to just reset I call it my barometer, reset it so that I'm not empathically trying to whatever. And then I go and I talk again and I fix it. This time I couldn't fix it, meaning there wasn't enough time for him to come down and for us to talk before I left. And I didn't want to go because one, like I said, I like being there, and two, I don't like leaving loose ends. So I waited a few minutes. I called his mom. I told her I got home safe. He didn't tell her I called. And, ooh, that's weird that the thing did that. And I told her everything, and she just said to me, let him miss you this week. And then when Graham comes home, we'll talk to you about everything. And then you give us, like Graham said, give us the time to reflect. I said, yep. I just didn't want Christopher thinking I ditched him or anything because his dad wanted alone time with them. And that's what families want. Sometimes they want time with their family. So basically, right now, a lot of people think that I'm very upset to the point of things because based on my live feeds. I'm fine. I'm only upset because I don't like when people doubt themselves. I don't like when people prejudge me. But there were outside influences on this. And it basically contributed to it. And I don't fault anybody. I don't blame anybody. I still had a good time. But I really wished he didn't doubt himself that much to give me a fair chance. As of now, we still are keeping things boyfriend and girlfriend until we can really talk about things and his parents can talk to him and stuff, because I told him, prove me wrong with what I know is a contributing factor to what happened, and we'll go from there. But don't doubt yourself and throw me away because you had a preconceived idea before I even got there. And then tell everybody that you don't know what to do and that you hurt me again when you can tell them how you're feeling, but you can't tell me, even though you say, I don't listen, I don't understand why I'm not accepting an answer, but you're not giving me an answer. Because if you look at the factors, you didn't want to sit with me on the couch. You stayed in your chair. You were upset because your dad was in the hospital. Your plans got changed. We went to Cardiff and he wanted to take me to Torchwood Tower and the whole thing was roped off. I saw his face. I was like, one more thing that hit him. But then he really did like do a lot of stuff and everything too. Then basically was the other thing. We only had a couple of days in Cardiff and it was supposed to be our date night. Granted, I would not toss away these people. They are really nice people that I've met while we were waiting online in Doctor Who. Right? But he should have politely said to them, she's only here, because they were there till Saturday. We were only there till Wednesday. That if we all wanted to meet up for a dinner maybe, but I want to finish taking her around Cardiff to the castle and everything, and then we'll meet up later. But instead, everyone was looking for a game shop. I was so tempted to walk back to the hotel or go to the castle myself because I can't fault him for being a nice guy to show them where things are. But also, I can't keep being put. I gotta start putting myself first. And I started that a long time ago, but I keep slipping now and then. I don't fault him for anything that happened. I just don't like when he doubts himself and doesn't give me a fair chance. Maybe when I'm not there in person and let him think about it, he might miss me. He might change his mind. He might whatever, because that's what should have been. It should have been, I get there, we try things, you stay close to me, you don't sit in a chair, you don't whatever. You introduce me as the girlfriend all the time. But outside influence, like there's a running gag with him and me that the minute I landed, the Britain or UK leaves the EU. Or like his friend's wedding, there was hailstorms and all this other stuff. And like I said, he was fine doing everything up until his dad and everything else. So yeah, it's stress. It's whatever. But he should have let me in as well. So basically, this is the short version of what happened on my trip, because that was just the parts with him. The other parts were pretty cool. The good parts, what I did do with him, was like all the castles, the ruins, going to Cardiff, going to Durham, Newcastle. And I just got a Facebook thing. Give me 1 second, but I'm going to talk while I look at it. I just trying to see who it is and everything. It's something not important. I really had a good time. I wouldn't trade any of it, because the moments that he was not doubting himself and really acting like a boyfriend, he was holding my hand, we were doing things, and I was like, finally, he's right. But then we had that other fight that I laid into him, and I'm glad he yelled back at me, because it's the first emotional thing I saw. I'd rather him yell back at me than just sit there and doubt himself. Because not only did his parents see it, not only does his friends see it, everyone sees he fell. You wouldn't sit in your room pining on how you hurt me if you didn't think it was more than friends. You wouldn't sort of get, and it was the cutest thing when guys came up to me. He would like, or if guys came near me, he would switch to the side. Like, I know he wants to be with me. Everyone has said to me that that's all he wants. He wants to be with me. But this trip was supposed to be now trying to get to know each other. And it's not his fault. There were so many outside influence things that I would say overloaded him. And the fact that I was going home, maybe he's thinking I'm not coming back. Who knows? But like I said, when we were in Cardiff, he was okay up until a point. When we were at Raby Castle, he was fun. He was the person I met online. He was the person I see on Skype. His parents adore me and love me. Dad, like I said, wants to fly me out again to make up for this. But next year could mean anything. Next year could be January, February. Next year could be around his birthday, August. Like, his birthday comes up in August. I said to him, let's see how I feel. Right? But if he's still mad at me for pointing out the facts of why I didn't get a fair chance and how he doubts himself, this is what upsets me. Because all my life I've been fixing people and they've been leaving me behind and finding somebody else. It's like, how do I put it? Some boyfriends I got, I'd fix them and then they'd dump me and then find somebody else who looks almost similar to me, and basically just like if you wanted me, why didn't you keep me type of situation. Christopher has gotten more chances than many people have. I burned so many bridges and almost lost my job to find out if I could have a life with him or things. Now everyone says I met him online. I shouldn't even be saying love him, life, or anything like that. But one of my friends made a good point. Forget the 3 years that we had together, the on and off and everything. Think of it as you're meeting somebody for the first time in person. You would be naturally scared. You would be curious, distant. You would be wary, right? And then it's like you go out on your first date. Then you go out on your second date, right? Then your third date. And so on to get to know the person. My problem was I had 3 weeks to do what you can do in a year or anything when people are in person one-on-one every day. And it didn't help me and my situation with him because outside influences changed plans, which just threw everything in a tailspin. And then him already prejudging before he even met me physically, saying he wants a physical relationship, but doesn't understand why he can't, because he doubts himself. Because maybe subconsciously he thinks I don't want him around, or that he's going to keep hurting me, or who knows? He has to come to those terms. So like his mom said, give him this week, because he said to me too, he wants to see if it hits him like a ton of bricks. What's going to happen, because I forgot this morning that I was even home. And I figured, like I was getting up like I normally did when I was out there for those 3 weeks, that I was going to go downstairs, talk to his mom, get something to eat, and then have him stroll out right behind to give me a hug. And or like what he was doing, tickling me, and I loved that. He was actually tickling me. He actually found where I'm ticklish. Most people can't find where I'm ticklish. So basically, like I said, this is the short version of that hour video. But I will try to post that hour video. But I'm letting you guys know, as of now, I'm going to give him time. We're still boyfriend and girlfriend until we see what happens. Plus, after I talk to his dad and see how the situation is, if I'm going to be going out there next year or if I'm going to have them ship back all my stuff that I left out there and just stay here and do what I have to do with my life. And when he decides he wants to, because due to outside influences and things that are beyond control that I'm not allowed to, because it's personal, basically we have to factor in that and everything, and hope in hopes that he makes the right decision this time, not prejudges the decision or pre-makes it without having the physical body there. Because I already miss him. I miss being hugged. I miss being tickled. I miss the kisses. I miss the cuddling. I miss everything. He didn't disappoint me. He didn't hurt me in that sense. He just doubts himself. And I wish he'd stop doubting himself, because if he stops doubting himself, you'll find that it can work, that he has fallen, and he just maybe can't see me moving past friendship, because if he thinks he's going to screw it up or anything, he might lose me as a friend. But he doesn't understand. You can't, okay, you do right by me, I don't ditch you. I never do. But if you manage to do something that is severely wrong to me, then I don't want to know you. And I've done that to people. That's why I have some exes that are brothers and some that if I see them, they're getting thrown off a cliff. Or figure of speech like that, you know? Because it's how you present yourself to me. Doubt in yourself is not going to make me want to leave you. Hating the fact that you don't know how to express your feelings, no problem. How many people can? But I will say this, and I say this to you, Christopher. You were wrong in prejudging everything before I got there. That you were. I can understand why you sat in the chair, because you were stressed about your dad and everything else that was going on because plans had gotten changed. Also, what your mother has told you and what I knew also does play a factor in it. And I told you to prove me wrong that you don't, you know? But at the same time, you never gave me a fair shot by not being, like I said, you just sat there and I was basically alone on a trip that was supposed to be for the two of us. You wanted physical and you wouldn't even let me one night stay next to you in the bed. This is where doubt comes in. That's what it was, doubt. And that was a weird beep. It was doubt that froze you. It's when you let yourself be you, that's what I love about you. And you can't hurt me when it's that. And you're not hurting me. It just makes me feel, I don't like saying feeling sad for you either, because that's even wrong. I think, like your mom said, give you this time that I'm not there. If you want to Skype me, do whatever, right? Like you said too, like I told you. See if it hits you like a ton of bricks. That I'm not there when you wake up. If you can truly say in your heart, and don't do it with your head, your heart, that you can survive or move on, and you're not going to lock yourself in a room because I'm not there or not speaking to you or you ditch me like you did last time, then the reason you didn't need me was you know how to survive on your own. And you've grown. But it would have been nice to share things with you. So, this is the little glitch I have. How do I basically, because we still don't know what his dad's going to talk to me about, and we don't know what else. The door is open for next year for me to go visit based on his dad. Do I accept that offer? Knowing what I know? And not knowing what I know because nothing was made a decision? Because he spent all day in his room? Or do I do what I normally do and I run, cutting everybody off and saying goodbye? Then I think to myself, I don't like running anymore. It never gets me anywhere. It just gets me more upset and more things. So this is what I plead. This is my challenge to Christopher and to anyone who's in the same situation. Think long and hard. Think about what got you to this point. Think about why you wanted me out there. Forget about everything else and listen to your heart, because sometimes your head can confuse you. Think about why you feel comfortable with me. Think about why you think you don't need me when Need is a word for someone who can't handle life. I got a funny feeling you're starting to handle life and what it's throwing at you. So, before this one turns into an hour video, my words here are this. Do not make a decision harshly based on anything that went on, in the sense of, how do I put it? See what it's like to be able to stand on your own. And if you come back to me wanting more, door's open. My door is always open. I never close the damn thing. Sometimes people say I should so that I can keep the riffraff out. But you know what? Sometimes it's the riffraff that actually makes you feel better. And it's the ones you think that are going to are the ones that make you feel worse. Right now, I've got to deal with work and everything else. So, this is my, like I said, I can't make a decision until someone else makes a decision. In the sense of if I'm going to be a guest in the house or am I getting a hotel room when I go visit next year. People tell me he wants to be with me and he's afraid he's going to fuck this up or mess it up or screw it up. He just doubts himself too much and doesn't want to talk with me that way. So, good night to you guys. I'm going to try to upload both videos because maybe they can fix that 1 second thing at the end or whatever. But I will say this, I will not trade that trip for anything. It put me on a path I like to be on. Because I've got a lot of planning to do. And besides, his dad's going to help him with something else that may get him to come to New York. Because that's the one thing too. He keeps wanting to go to Florida, but his friends can visit him anytime they want. Or he's been seeing that, right? Give me my fair chance. Everyone else has had their fair chance. I didn't have mine. And it's not because of anything. It's because there was outside influences that didn't give me that chance. So, like I said, before this gets to be the hour one like this, other one, I also have to go to work, so I have to get some sleep. This, I tell you, and that was the chair. I love Christopher. I love him as a friend. I love him as a brother. I love him as a compadre, a companion, for those Doctor Who fans. I love him even as a boyfriend, even if he can't see it or feel it yet, because he decided a decision before I got there. So, like I said to him, as of now, let's see what happens. His mom said, let's see what happens. But right now, I need just to breathe, get on with everything, and remember, he's done this to me before. So, I've brought him back so many times. Ball's in his court. The only thing is that if I fixed him for somebody else, that person better appreciate it. Because I've been down that road before. But he assures me there's nobody else, and I do believe him on that. But there is that one little seed that has been sitting there since my past likes to come back and haunt me too. So, since my computer is acting up, I will shut this down, but rest assured, I keep hearing from people, give him a chance. He wants to be with you. Now, he has to figure out what his heart is saying and not his head. So, night all, have fun, and hopefully I can get the other one up.